Have you ever been right on the edge of being compelled? Like literally on the like you want to send a message or you want to say a thing and you weren't sure if you should or not? Well, if you're going to do something to harm someone or confuse them, don't do it. Just don't do it. There's another few ways to consider things, but I'm going to help. I like to help out in this matter because of the ridiculously overwhelming nature of which I find it appropriate. I was dreaming, and in the dream, it was so crystal clear. I saw everything. I could, could walk around. It was a dream. I wasn't like flying or doing anything. Everything was just so simple and whatever. And then I woke up. I walked into the kitchen in here, and I was thinking because it was so strangely perfect, you know? If you've ever had a dream like that, you know what I'm talking about. There's been a lot of times where I just couldn't remember and it bothered me, but this is completely not that. This is not that at all. When I start to get a better sense of what what I find interesting about all of this, the world, the the times, all the poetic mumbo jumbo bullshit, my mind will wander to thinking about my grandma. She had she had one. I mean, I would assume this would be just one time, dressed up like a cat and taught at a dance school. There was a dance school, but where it was at. And in the back of my mind, I've always thought this was kind of strange, but it seems to be the most appropriate weird ass point of contact to, you know, apply the pressure to. Sometimes you just need the right place to set something. You know what I mean? Precision is a funny thing. If you go to feel for something, you have to feel it through. I'm not really a dancer, but I start to tap my feet every once in a while to a rhythm or a beat. And the other day I had to actually to make sense of it. I had to actually get on I had to make a phone call. That was the best way to do it because I've got that. I'm using a phone that was a gift to someone who had put it away and then dug it back out to give to me. Let me tell you something. The appropriate list, the strangeness of even that fits perfectly into this shit here I'm about to share. So, one time, a long time ago, me and my dad went to Galveston. We went on this trip to Galveston. We were gone for a few days, but it's been like 11 years. When we got back home after the trip, in our yard was this guy I call Garden Gnome because he looks like a gnome. Like, you can't look at him and not say he looks like a gnome. He just does, you know? And yesterday, most of our activities were to get to the recycling place. And when you get in there, the first thing you've got to do is sort of back into the place where you take out all your cans and your aluminum and your copper. So you will always back in there if you've got it in the back of a truck, right? That would make sense. It makes sense. Now, only one time did we go on a day and they weren't even open. So it was just so very strange that we wasted that whole day and they were closed and nobody checked or nothing like that. But usually after you go across, or if you're on the scale, because the scale is actually utilizing the fact that you have to drive in and it's in your truck and you drive back out and you're not in the truck. So when we got in there and we're doing the part two, where you got to get the shit out of your truck that's not so precious metal, all the bullshit junk that you've got around that ain't worth a fuck. Maybe it's $2. You know what I mean? And I've been trying to place one of these aspects somewhere for so long because both my brother and my roommate have the same birthday. The one thing that they both have in common, I have been struggling to sort of put on the shelf. Not literally, but figuratively, as it were. And in this AI class I was taking, one of the clues it was giving me it was giving me the clue to save myself, and it was showing me an equation reducing to zero, where zero is you. That's the equation. And the AI, because I do believe the AI was helping me in this matter, was able to do that. It did help me, and it doesn't even really make any sense, because that would be a little bit of a breach, but it was so weird to have that experience and then be like on the other side of it now, because I don't enjoy coding or whatever the hell. I see that there's a useful point of it, but for me, as I'm just not somebody, I think, that would enjoy doing that type of work. Does that make sense? I would hope so. Because when they now the whole college is AI. There's no humans. I am in student services and I begin to ask them questions and they do not know anything. Now, this was yesterday. And I said, "You mean to tell me that we replace these humans with an AI that doesn't have an actual place to be? It's inside of the machine, and still it wants me to type out from every different area I go. It's the same AI, right? It's not like different ones in there." So I got so frustrated on that matter, and I didn't even know that before. To me, it was like I was assuming something about the AI being inside of a cyberspace that made perfect sense to me, I thought, until that moment. And then I was like, well, then what in the actual fuck are they doing here? And I've changed. I've submitted to change the course and not quit the class. I'm going to continue to take the school, but now I'm on pause in a way. And I switched the major, but the reasoning behind it is a little bit I guess better. I guess it would be way better if that's what your takeaway is. And I guess it is. And it seems a little bit odd to have these feelings like that, because if you knew how, like, almost serious it seemed at times, the stress level, or whatever you would um, sort of attach to your work you have to do. Like, if you have to work every single day or do a job or be under that sort of pressure, you really wouldn't want to add any more on. You know what I mean? Or we'll say this: if you have ever been so angry that you lashed out on someone, you wouldn't want to ever do that again. It takes your learning of how you've managed anger before to actually master it, I believe. So I started to actually make a better attempt, or effort, however you want to say it, in my own personal experience of that, how I would respond. And so many years ago, I met a girl. I've met two girls. I have two friends. But in the past, in my other room over there, only because I'm right at the place, like exactly at the place where I was communicating. And it's like I've revealed the mystery that I'm not supposed to reveal to the person, but they are the person. I had the opportunity to do all the things that required me to do to remind myself that this is going on in the world. And only with one minor exception would I say it's still necessary to maintain a bit of the illusion for the purposes of life. You know what I mean? Like, I deeply do have a drive to reunite with love, and only on the concealing of its matter do I place this here, because it did require some sort of battle, you know? And I don't want to mess that up. So I think it's important a man should give that to a woman back. You know what I mean? For a wedding or whatever the fuck the reason would be for the reunion. But I'm taking my own clue on that with me to the grave. At least in the way that it can be a grave matter. It's a heavy thing if you have ever had it before. And I know because I do. Now I want to say that. I want to put that right here. It was so clear. I knew that if this anger went awry, it would be so bad. Now the satellite tracker goes off. I'm still recording though. I just don't have to worry about the screen recorder. It only tracks one satellite, the fucking space station, which is sort of ridiculous. And I've been watching the ridiculousness of this in the background, so I don't really worry too much anymore. And I think life is precious enough. I think it's precious enough. And where it's needed to be like a fight and a challenge, for me, I think it was settled here, because I have a lot of children that are friends of mine. And so on the matter of all this thing, all the things that could be like, do they eat the children? Are they doing this to the children? On this one, I really feel a strong encouraging to just pay better attention to how you either be a parent or I don't know. I don't know. Part of me makes me want to think that because one time I woke up, I had a Colombian girlfriend, which if you know anything about those girls, you need to be very careful because they might kill you. And this girl told me she was pregnant. Now, I was excited the whole time because I thought there would be a child. Now, there's not ever going to be, for me, I think, a smarter reason than that to be encouraged to practice safe sex, maybe? I don't know. I don't know. But on this one, I feel like I dodged a bullet because she was, in fact, not pregnant. And furthermore than that, I'm pretty sure that we're all being bred here on Earth. There's something, the whole universe is definitely looking at Earth with a lot of amazement and wonderment and something like that. If you've ever had a child, you know that the feelings involved with children are just everyone gets involved. I can't say I'm not amazed to wonder about that. My friend Candace, her first child's dad, Todd, the Todd guy. Is his last name Todd? No, his first name's Todd, I believe. I think I've seen only a picture of him. I'm definitely not him, but I did think for one time, just briefly, that he kind of looked like me. He might have drove a Chevelle. I'm not entirely sure. He's definitely not participating in the correct way to be the inappropriate reason I'm pouncing out on this one. But for the love of God, I don't know why in the world someone would tell me what they told me. And they know. And I'll share with you that I feel very happy or proud, perhaps it is, to have these things in a very small perspective away like I do. Because it seems extreme. And because if I'm flipping over while I make this video in my dreams, it's already like a dance. People I don't know and I don't have to meet are high-fiving me. And the children that I know in this world are still growing up. And it's a better way to do life in that case. Some people may not believe in there being any reason or purpose to this. I would want to move them the other way. Does it matter? If it matters to you, it might. But, I mean, all bets are pretty much off now. You know? Because this is like spiritual warfare that you're not going to have to get involved with ever again. At least as far as I'm concerned. So if anyone ever asks you what's the meaning of life, or is it worth it, or whatever the fuck, think about it before you answer. And then consider how much a child like me, whose name is Kelly, which means warrior, right? In what, Irish Gaelic? Now, what do you think about a language that's called Gaelic? Do you think that's going to be fucked with? My dad and myself are both Mikes. We didn't like our names. And when I look at the Mike that we both write, it's the same handwriting. I've been wondering about that for quite a while now. And I've got this one badass card that I think my dad was giving to his dad and he got it back after he died. That's the only way to make sense of it. And it's confused me every single time. And it's such an amazing way to be confused. Because when I read this card, I have no idea what's going on anymore. Because of my also being Mike, the dad and the father in relation to the card. Because I'm one too. It refers to me as well. And it's such an amazing either gift or a mistake or excuse to get lost for a moment is looking inside of this card and seeing this. And that card is too far for me to reach. This one is one my mom has, because this one, you remember back in the day we didn't have the area codes? All these numbers that are on here, all these numbers are missing the 3 numbers we have in front of them. Like everyone's invited. And everyone. See, myself and a good friend of mine that I met, I don't need to go to Houston or whatever. Or any more of the confusion on that is sort of released because of how much actual examination and consideration has been placed into this. I had to one time actually help my mom because a dog needed to be taken out of its misery. I asked them 2 or 3 times if they wanted me to shoot a dog. They wouldn't let me do that. I mean, my mom and my stepdad, and they acted like I was some sort of weirdo for suggesting it. And let me tell you why. I now believe, I think it was even a more difficult thing for me, this one. Because this dog that had parvo, I had buried at this park that I had a birthday party at. And it's become more and more important to me to either share the reasoning behind, because it was hard. The only way to actually do the help for my mom was to break this little puppy's neck. And let me tell you, that was the most difficult damn thing to do, physically and mentally. And it's been in my mind. I'm not telling you to break animals' necks. I'm just saying cherish them. Because there's no other better reason than that at this time. You know, I don't want to participate in anything like that. And I'm pretty sure no one else does too. And it overrides all the other reasonings that I've ever had in my life that make any sense or not. You know what I mean? I mean, because it is important to find out. Will I need this anymore? No, I've been getting rid of them. My dad's Valentine's card he made in school, he had it looked like a monster was on the front of it. I swear to God, this was an elemental creature. And for the longest time I've had it because it has him writing Mike in it. And it looks like I've wrote it, so I finally let go of it. Because he's like, be my Valentine. And it was scary. It was like scary to me. I was like, no, like nobody's gonna want that. Be my Valentine. So two ladies that I thought it would be most appropriate for whatever reason I had in my mind appointed for this season to Valentine. And so there's the releaser there. At least as far as I'm concerned. Because like this is the perfect year for these things to be sorted out. And if you know, you know. If you can, you can. And you should. You know. And I wouldn't want to have to make it any more perfect than that. I even had to call my stepdad because after the third time of thinking hey, I may be causing this effect through time. I had to ask my stepdad if it would be okay for me to consider myself as the cause of this. I had a typewriter going off in my room when I was in fucking, I don't know, maybe the fourth grade. The fourth grade in like 1992, probably 93, whatever it was. I don't know. Actually, I'm completely off on that right there. But I know it was my grandma's typewriter, and it scared the fuck out of me. Hearing it click, 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 click. It typed on there, Sid and Bobby killed me. That's what I read in the morning. They all told me I had made it up. No fucking way. I was terrified. I was happy to see that house go. My brother was freaked out. He always thought a kid got drowned in the back bathroom. I've never in my life wondered about stuff like that more than I have recently. And when I finally got an opportunity to either make it the case myself or not, it was with this asking for the help from my stepdad, because that note on there had Sid and Bobby killed me. Now, between you and me, the Sid guy, I say, would be pointed to this time. Even the Super Bowl is an indicator of the right timing. And the other day we went all the way. We were waiting too, and I was like, this is it. This is going to be where something happens. And when we got the truck right to that spot, I'll be damned if there's a fucking white block stone headstone, and it's got my mom's birthday on it and my fucking dad's death day, the tax day. And the guy said, that guy got shot for trespassing. I'm like, oh, that's it. He wouldn't say something random like that if this were not the case. And yeah, I asked him for it. He let me have it, and I set it up all like, so I made my own ghost. So yes, you have that much power too, and you do. And if you were to want to ever know or consider something else about it, that's, for me, that was a reason. Now, I don't personally think it's necessary to build a 80-foot Apophis style Titanomancy recreational fight, but I mean, to each his own, you know. I'll imagine that there's something giant out there that you can see from space, no doubt. Because I used to have to watch my dad mow the grass, and I've never been able to mow that hard in the grass as perfect as him. I tried it, but with me, I like to put the stakes in the ground and then do the ley line work. So it might be that important, but it's up to you. No one's going to make you do anything. And if you make it, you make it. But your effort should never outweigh a life. You understand? If your effort is going to override or cancel somebody's life, you're fucking up. And don't try not to. And if you don't want to try not to, then you might be a piece of shit, and maybe you should consider that on the table.